What's up, fans? Welcome to my channel. A few of you, have asked me how I get this hazy, dreamy, blown out highlight look in my photos. And I'm here to tell you, it's pretty simple. And I'll show you how it's done. Also, if you're not following me on Instagram already, what the fuck are you doing? It's at benz.camera. Let's get this show on the road. Alright, now we're in Photoshop. I have this photo of my friend Kat that I took a few days ago, and I already did some basic retouching, some adjustments to it, but now is when the magic happens. So basically what we're trying to do to get that hazy, dreamy look is select the highlights in the image and blur them. Alright, a little side note. I'm editing the video right now, and I just realized the little Vimeo screen recording notification thing is at the bottom the whole time. I'm not gonna re-record it. Just deal with it. I'm sorry. And the first thing we're gonna do is condense all these adjustments we've already made into one layer that sits on top of everything. And to do that, we do Control-Alt-Shift-E. And as you can see, we have a layer that is identical to everything that was already below it. So now we have to actually select the highlights in this layer. So to do that, we go up to Select, Color Range, and you go down to Highlights. Now, in order to see what you're selecting on a bigger scale, you want to go down to Selection Preview and either choose Grayscale or Quick Mask. Just depends on the scenario. But I didn't want any of the background selected because we're not trying to blur the background. So I decrease the fuzziness and I just get the range to select the highlights that I want to be blurred. Now you might select some stuff that you don't want to be blurred, but we can take that out later. So you can click OK. And just like that, all the highlights are selected. So we're going to go and mask that. And then if you press the backslash button, you can now see the highlights. So let's say that we don't want the highlights on her face to be blown out. And usually I don't blur the highlights on the face, but I think this time I might like it. But for example, if we don't want it, get your paintbrush tool out, make sure the flow and opacity is at 100%, and just paint with black over that area. Make sure your mask is selected. And just like that, it's out of the picture. But I want it, so I'm gonna undo that. Now that you've trimmed down the mask to only the highlights that you want to be blurred, then you can right click on the mask and apply the layer mask. So now this layer is just those highlights. Now we can blur it. So you go up to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and I like to do the first blur around 100 pixels. As you can see, you already have that kind of nice bloom effect. You say OK. And I like to change the blending mode to screen, and that just makes the whites and everything under it just a little bit brighter, like the sun's actually shining on it or something. Yeah, it depends on the scenario. Sometimes I don't do it. It just depends on how you want it to look. So we've done that, and then I like to do another one. So I do Control J, duplicate it, and go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. And this time I like to make it go all the way up to around like 700, 600. Just a big number. Now if you have a slow computer, do not do this step. It is not worth it. It'll crash your... It's just not worth it. So now that you have both of these, you can play with the opacities to get the effect that you want. And then I like to put it in a folder, label it highlights or something. Oh, I spelled it wrong. That's okay. Anyway, now that we've done that, I'm looking at it, clicking it on and off, and it just looks like the face is just a little bit too covered up by the blur for me. So I'm going to come down here, make a mask, and then this time decrease the flow to something low like 3. Taking the paintbrush tool, paint with black over the face, and just like that we've isolated the face and made it not as covered up by the blur. And this can kind of direct the viewer's attention to the face. Alright, and now you can be done here. But what I like to do is go into Camera Raw and just finish the edit. I actually do most of my editing in Camera Raw, and the basic adjustments are just kind of getting it ready for that step. So to do that, we're going to compress everything again into one layer that sits on top, and that's Control-Alt-Shift-E. This time though, we're going to right click on the layer and we're going to convert it to a smart object, so then we can go back and edit the adjustments we make later if it's not looking the way we want. So now I'm going to go to Filter and Camera Raw Filter. Now this should look pretty familiar to most of you because it's literally just Lightroom but in Photoshop. So I'm just going to quickly do some adjustments that I like. Alright, so another way that I kind of sell this effect is by going to the curves layer and bringing the shadows up and taking the highlights down, really just flattening the whole image. Now, a lot of people tell you to not do this when you're starting out, or that's a bad effect, but I think it really just helps sell this effect, and it's part of my style, and I like it. Then I'm just gonna, kind of play around with some other settings really quickly. I never really go into Camera Raw with a super strong idea of what I want to do. I just kind of play around until I get the look that I'm kind of going for, or I find something that I'm happy with. Alright, and we'll call that good for right now. I usually do a little bit more, but the last thing I always do is add some grain. Again, it helps sell this effect. A lot of people tell you to not add grain. If you have a nice camera, why would you add grain? I don't know. I like the look of it. Sue me. And boom. There we go. Click OK. And as you can see, with just these two layers, we've added a whole new style to the photo and really just elevated it to make it look more professional and to really tell more of a story. Alright, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. In other news, I got a new tattoo. I hope you enjoy it. Alright. Adios.